Moving right along in here into set number 2. I need to move my computer box to actually give my mouse cable a little bit of extra room. Because this mouse has a shorter cable, but it's okay. I have a USB extender. That thing is so freaking useful. Like, computers should come with one default. Like, there should be one hard installed into every computer. Just a USB extender. 5-foot USB expander. Just, oh, they're so nice. They're so nice. Anyway, in the bottom right, as the purple Protoss, it is DragOn. DragOn, the least American of Americans. And in the bottom left, we have Pike, who is the yellow Zer. Alright. So, using that, not using that, resetting the score, and I did not do positions. Pike is... we're gonna call that 8 o'clock. That's not an 8, that's a 7. There we go. And you can be... oh, I could have kept it at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock would have been fine, but we'll change it to... oh, I was totally changing the wrong one. I guess I did need to change it. There we go. 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Rarely do you get it used before o'clock. I almost always put 5 o'clock. But no, this one more of a 4 o'clock. It's more of a 4 o'clock. Because in the corner is 4:30. So it's a little bit before 4:30. That's 4 o'clock. Boom, got it. Alright. Pike showing off the 9 pool. And DragOn has his Forge on the way. Now, these are 2 very good players, and we've been told this set is really good, but it's going to be hard for DragOn. Pike is a beast. Pike is a very, very solid player. And there are certain, like, ridiculously high-ranked players that can be upset. That can they just lose games because their style can backfire on them a bit. But Pike is the least of that, of any high-ranked player, pretty much. He is so dang solid. It's just hard to upset him. It's really hard to... if you beat Pike, it's because you are a better player than Pike, not because you got lucky. In general. But, you know, DragOn's been putting up some good results. DragOn is a talented player. He certainly can take games off of Pike. But I'd almost like DragOn versus anybody else in Poland, because versus somebody like South Park and True Touch. South Park and True Touch may or may not be better than Pike, but it's easier to get upsets on them because sometimes their super aggressiveness can backfire, and then you get to the late game and South Park decides that defilers are for weenies, and then it doesn't work out well. Pike understands that's why Pike is solid. Pike is solid because he understands that, like, defilers are actually something that should be used every now and then. This is going to be a pretty dang strong Zergling attack, though. Pike just trying to make me look as absolute wrong as possible by building a lot of Zerglings and busting with them. There are 3 cannons here, though. We're just going for the run-by? We are just going for the run-by. Thanks, Pike. Thank you, Pike. I was feeling a little bit too good about myself. I was feeling good about my casting, feeling confident, saying a lot of smart things, hadn't made any really big mistakes yet, and then you just shut that all down. Thank you for serving me that big old piece of humble pie, Pike. Go out on a limb, try to say you're good, and then you rush into 3 cannons. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. So, all right. Layers on the way. And Pike also is not going to go for a 3rd base. Pike is also going to go for his 3rd hatch in his natural. Interesting. I mean, what Julia was doing was not common. That was the abnormality here. This map, there's certainly good places you can put a third base. Up in this natural, great choice to put it. You can put it at one of the islands, great choice to put it. It is worth mentioning that while the run-by will probably not net any probe kills. Oh, okay. So it did net 1 probe kill for 12 links. But beyond that, he did deny mining here a long time. And while all the probes were mining at this space, it's less efficient mining. So it did do a little bit of subtle damage in that way. Still not enough to recuperate the cost of the attempt, but something to consider. Alright. Oh. I thought I messed up Dragon's name, but no. It's right here. It's not wrong down there because it doesn't give me enough characters. I really don't know why this is here, because it's like no name is ever short enough to fit in this. Pike's would be if it didn't have the Poland tag, I guess. Anyway. So, is this just Team Poland's build? 3 hatch Muta off a 2 base? No, he hasn't taken his gas yet. Alright. I guess we'll see. He does have a pretty large bank of gas, so if he really wanted to, he could make 6 mutas, or almost 6 mutas, and then never replace them, because presumably by the time that DragOn will get up cannons eventually, and then it's not worth building anymore. That'd be an interesting strategy, just go for broke on 6 Mutalisks. And no, we're just gonna build a lot of Scourge. Alright, so Hydrosten, hatchery, and that hatchery up there. So, okay. We're gonna build this hatchery here, and what building this hatchery here does is it delays this one from having to be built, because this one's gonna be more exposed. When he builds this one here, it's safe because there's a sunken here. He can get Zerglings here. That's not a problem. But on this map, if you want this to be your third base, if you don't want this one up here to be your third base, but you want this close one to be your third base, it can be very vulnerable in the early game. So I guess Pike was willing to. No, he is going Mutalisks. What the hell, Pike? Pike, you're on 1 gas, and you used a bunch of it on Scourge. Alright. I guess this is just Team Poland's build of the day. Go 2 base Muta. BVZ. Oh, they found a Corsair. He doesn't need to send both Scourge, and if both Scourge hit, that's a mistake, considering how much damage it has. He might just want to use both. He might be sending both Scourge to give himself a little bit more of a chance of hitting it. And it's not going to matter. Let's take it out. Alright. There are no cannons here. There's not even a pylon there. It's still warping in. This is what I was talking about when I said it might be a really good idea to go in with 6 Mutalisks, because if he went for immediate 6 Mutalisks, there would be just 6 Mutalisks parked over this probe, over these probes. They wouldn't even have the possibility of building a cannon because there's no pylon back there. But now there's at least a cannon. He can still go in, obviously. There's no cannon here, and the cannons warp in pretty slowly. Don't have a lot of health. Mutalisks can pick them off, even if there's only 4 of them. Might be a little bit hard since there's only 4, but he has Scourge to keep the Corsairs off. It's not as if there's anything else to distract him. It could work. Yeah. Alright. Well. Is that? Sorry, I gotta go check that. Oh. No, it's not even close. Like, I don't know why it says that. Well, this guy said it has 8K viewers. I only see 1K viewers. Like, obviously, it's going to be doing well in Brood War standards now, but like 8K, well, I didn't. That was a little bit beyond what I thought. Alright, so Pike's researching the lurker upgrade. He never ended up going in with a Mutalisk to attack those probes, which, I don't know. He has a lot of Hydralis out right now. He might be able to just bust, considering there's not a lot of cannons in the front here to defend. Does have a lot of High Templar, though. Yeah, they all have at least one. And Storm is just finishing up. I don't know. Pike's mechanics are pretty good. If he storm dodges effectively, it's only 4 storms. And he has enough Hydralis, he can eat one really badly. So he needs to dodge like 3 storms. Pike could do it. Pike certainly could do it here. I'm a little bit worried for DragOn right now. On the other hand, DragOn does have a lot of Zealots, so he's more relying on the Zealots to defend rather than cannons. DragOn coming in, discovering this space. Man, again, really just... I'm not gonna say confused, but I don't understand his expo placement. This one is a very open expo where he could have gone for ones much safer than this. And this one, you should put that one here. I mean, I guess this is saying I'm not going to SimCity either of them. This one would be hard to SimCity, but you could at least get something here. This one you just can't at all. So it gets you saying this is a very late game base, and I'm going to treat it as such. I'm just never going to SimCity it. So I might as well put it a little bit farther away, I guess. Here come the Zealots, the Lurkers. Man, unfortunately timed. There we go. Now we got some Lurkers in there. Oh, that's a good storm. That storm, not quite as good. But a lot of the Lurkers are going down. DragOn already has his Observer out. And, oh wow. Oh wow. That is terrible luck there. The Hydralisks were firing at the Zealots, completely blocking the ramp, preventing those Lurkers from getting away. The 2 Lurkers are expensive. And DragOn's actually dealing with this quite beautifully. Pike doesn't have as big of an army as he should, and for 2 reasons. One, because he did go for Mutalisks, which cuts down on the available gas funds for such things as Lurkers. Didn't invest that much into it, but the other thing is the fact that he just delayed his 3rd. He waited to get his 3rd, which meant that at this stage of the game he's just going to have a smaller army than Zerg normally has. Which is why DragOn was able to win an engagement like that so easily. Alright, coming in, blowing up a couple of these buildings on the outside. Taking out this evolution chamber will help the Zealots spread out a little bit. Allow them to get in there to attack the Lurkers possibly better. We have a couple of storms. There are only 2 Lurkers here. There we go. Both of the... Oh, there's a 3rd Lurker. But 2 of the Lurkers are down, and none of... Well, one of the Dragoons have died. Oh, but this is the dangerous part. Once it gets to a point where you only have Dragoons left, you just start to lose them so quickly to nothing but Zerglings. It's very painful. But he should still be able to take out this base here. Morphing in some more Zerglings. Are you going to be able to kill the egg? Yes, he can kill one of the eggs. And the other one? Yep, gets both the eggs. So that's 4 Zerglings doesn't have to deal with, but now here comes some more reinforcements from Pike. Pike would really like to not have to lose this base. Not going to happen. The hatchery does fall. And the rest of the army will move down to take out the last Sunken and Spore. Oh, could not quite take out that Spore colony in time to save the Observer, though. That's going to limit what the rest... I don't know if DragOn would have wanted to pursue on into here, but certainly without that Observer, he's not going to bother to. Could go up. He does know that there's a base up here. Ooh. Ooh. Pike. Pike, come on, man. Better than that. Wow, and DragOn is going to go for it. Did he get a new observer here? Is he just relying on storms to kill the lurkers? It looks like the latter. That is a very risky decision here. I think DragOn, he's done good damage. He took out Pike's third. He destroyed a huge amount of army. He still has a great bit left. I don't think it's necessary to go in for an attack here, especially without the observers. We are going to go for some Overlord kills, though, and Pike not quite supply blocked, and oh, only one Overlord, trading that for a bunch of Corsairs. Corsairs do have +1, which helps a little bit. A couple of Zealots coming up here to attack, and they'll be able to take that out. Very nice, very nice. I was even recommending that DragOn sent his entire army up there, but DragOn showing an even better way of doing it. Just using a few Zealots. Just using a few Zealots to take it out, and that, you didn't need anything more. You absolutely did not need anything more than those 4 Zealots, and that's a really nice move when you can just use 4 Zealots to take out a base like that. Putting Pike on 2 bases, and man, DragOn's still going for it. DragOn really wants to end this game right here. He does have the supply for it. That's a very scary army, and Pike does not have a whole lot. His army should be able to break through, and indeed, Pike GG's. You see the blue Zerglings. And DragOn, very nice game, takes game 1. Alright. Whoa. That's weird. Normally doesn't stay. Whatever. I don't mind. Alright, game number 2. Shoutouts to Pike. They are excuse me, the map order is, the first one is set and the rest of them are loser's choice. So Pike choosing match point makes me happy. I am a match point fan. This map is so great. It is, in my opinion, one of the best. I'm not going to quite say the best map in StarCraft, but the only thing that's wrong with it is I think that it's a little hard for Zerg. I think it's a little bit on the hard side for Zerg, which is unfortunate because it's just that little thing that makes it not an absolute top tier map. Or not. It is a top tier map, so it makes it not the best map. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright. So, Pike is Teal Zerg in the bottom position. And DragOn is the brown Protoss in the top position. There we go. Nope, that didn't quite do it. There we go. Alright. This is DragOn up here. DragOn. Oh, there's the pylon. There's just kind of a probe sitting up there. Alright. Hopefully Forge first, as the spawning pool is on the way. Pike went for the overpool. This time I did actually look at the Zerg base quickly enough to see what was going on. Alright. So, it does appear that we're going to see a little bit more standard of a wall from DragOn, compared to the wall we had from Jumper. If you... Never mind. Huh. I was going to say, he could put the gateway here, and then he has 2 holes instead of 3. Although that might be a... Is that a 3rd hole? I'm not even sure. But no, he's gonna put the cannon here. I don't even know where the gateway goes. Where does the gateway go? Cannon up there? I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out where the gateway goes. It isn't going anywhere for now. DragOn is still very scared of Pike and his overpools. Pike He's going for a quick Zergling speed. Dragon scouted out I think he scouted out that expansion hadn't started yet. So he sees a number of lengths. Apparently he's not confident in his own wall here. Which, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't be either. This is kind of a weird looking wall. And he's just not going to get the gateway. He doesn't need the gateway. With 3 cannons, you can just kill everything. You don't need a wall. But, Alright. And in the top left, we have Dragon hiding a probe. It's possible that's a proxy. It's possible it's a proxy, but most likely it's... I'm sorry. I got distracted by this. But most likely it's just going to be for a later scout, in case a lot of Zerglings surround here, you can't get a probe out. That placement for the gateway, that's got to be flush with the forge. Which means that there's a hole here. And apparently this is tight and this is tight. That's a very odd wall. Oh man, it's very dangerous when 2 cannons are firing. Wow. Overlord with that health regeneration going to live on 2 hit points and slowly recharge beyond that. Alright, and finally we're going to see finally we're going to see Pike, or a Polish player, take their 3rd base at a normal time, which is extremely early. This 3rd base though, it's not only is it a mineral only, but it's like one of the absolute hardest 3rd bases to defend because there is no SimCity and there's a huge ramp. A combination of there is a downward ramp and no SimCity, which just does not happen. Normally ramps do cause the ability to do SimCities, but in this case it does not, and it's facing downward. Sunken colonies can't even hit up there approximately 53% of the time. So what that means is that he's not going to want to defend this base, he's just going to want to be really aggressive. And he will have the minerals and the extra larva count to do it. Lair is up, and it's going to be Spire. Okay. He can go aggressive after this, if he throws on the Hydra Den. But man, I mean, the hatchery's in a different place, but it just seems like he's doing the same build as last time. Same timings for everything. What is this ridiculous Poland build of 1 gas muta? 1 gas muta PVZ. Alright. So Sugar warping in, Citadel going down, and getting the +1 weapons upgrade immediately. We do have very similar builds to what we had last time. Okay, and finally we get the Hydralisk dead. It does look like Pike wants to wall this off, which I don't like at all. This is a terrible place to be walling. And if you're going to play defensively, just take this base, because you can actually get a little bit more of a wall, and you have a gas. I mean, we've already seen him go 1 gas muta, so apparently gas isn't terribly important to him, but, you know, get the Corsair. So, do we not actually have Mutalisks this time? Apparently we don't. Apparently we just have Hydralisks. Which is the way I would expect to see this played, just with less sunken colonies, and really not the Spire first. I mean, it gets the Scourge out. But you gotta consider. You have to consider, he has spent, let's see, built 2 sets of Scourge. 2 sets of Scourge is 50, 150. Plus 200, 150, right? So 250, 300. He has spent 250, 300 to kill one Corsair. Maybe he'll be able to kill more later, but he's going to invest more if he builds more Scourge. Man, I'm just not a fan of these. He spent so much to kill a single Corsair. Yes, it does make the other Corsairs go back. Yes, it does keep the Overlord safer, but I think if you're good enough at the positioning on the Hydralisk, you can do that anyway. You're right. No, that is standard. It's a little bit weird. It's only weird considering the other Poland games we've seen. Kind of got me in a different mindset, and because if he just wants to go 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra like normal, he should be doing it from this base, not the mineral only. And normally you're spending all that money on Scourge, but you have 3 gases, so it's not as bad. But in this case, he's only on 2 gases, and he's not even posturing to get a 3rd gas. It's just, it's so expensive. Is it worth it? Is it worth it when you only own 2 gas? Oh, there they go. Alright. And, I mean, I haven't seen him make any other Scourge. Alright. So, finally the drone comes up here. Apparently going to expand, but doing it at a terribly unlucky time. Where the Corsairs were just flown over there. So, DragOn will be scouted. Will be scouting. Pike will be scouted. DragOn will be scouting it. And now we got a little bit of lurker harass on the, oops, a little bit too close there. Wow. Go right. On that front forge. So forge is taken out. He's got 5 cannons. That's a decent number, but considering how many Hydralisks Pike could be producing here, it might be a little bit scary for him. May just be a little bit scary. We have a Queen's Nest on the way. Probably not going to be used for Queens, but you never know. We saw Queens in the last set. Alright. So, I guess if Pike is just, excuse me, I guess if DragOn's going to be this passive, Pike has no problem with just putting his units into a great position. He can certainly set up a nice contain, and really bottleneck in a lot of DragOn's units. Punish them pretty heavily with lurkers once DragOn decides to come out. Pike is on his way to Hive Tech, so it won't be too much longer till Defilers, and if this is the same situation that we're in when Defilers hit, DragOn has a nearly unwinnable battle here. Now, DragOn, we've been talking so much about Pike, we haven't been looking at what DragOn's doing, but DragOn's been playing extremely passively. We didn't even have the +1 timing attack. This is DragOn's first move outside of his base with ground units. He's certainly been flying around with the Corsairs, doing a little bit with that, but, ooh. Hydralisks come in to snipe 2 observers. Just gonna make it more difficult for DragOn to leave here. Going to need probably a couple more instead of just 1. 1 is too easy to snipe. Alright. So, whoops, not what I wanted to hit. Pike, doing a good job, excuse me, doing a good job staying alive, despite the overwhelming odds against him. he's really trying to delay. Obviously, this contain can't last forever, but the longer he can keep it up, the worse and worse off Dragon is once he finally breaks out. We're getting to a point where he's pretty close to being mined out of his main base. And Pike still does have a very large army looming. This is the kind of situation Pike loves to be in. Just a large army, 4 expos, no pressure from the opponent at the moment. He can really set up any kind of game he wants to. Alright, loses a couple of lurkers instead of pulling them out, but it does keep Dragon back at pretty much the optimal amount of time in terms of what it's going to cost him. And finally Dragon can move out with this probe and expand. Again, it looks like he's going to go after the mineral only first. Pretty decent decision. This base can also be hard to hold, but as Protoss, it's a lot more important for your bases to be closer together, so you can have a little bit easier time defending that all. We have, there we go, Defiler Mount first. I love it. Love to see the Zergs get the Defiler Mount before the Old Shield Scabbard. Of course, they're still looking for Overlord kills. There's a couple here, but the biggest patch of Overlords are most likely over here. Yeah, over with all the Hydralisks, where they're a little bit safer. Some Speedlings. What is that, 10 Speedlings now? I guess he grabbed a control group and 2 of them died. But 10 Speedlings going around will look to attack a base while this big battle is going on. Dragon trying to attack up the cliff. Pike's army is very spread out. It's good for dodging storms, but a lot of his army is not actually participating in this fight. And I think that it's coming to a point where it's a mistake to not have used it all. Maybe... no. Maybe he was just holding it back so he could take out all the Dragoons after the storms were evaporated? I have to assume that's what it is. I don't think Pike's the kind of player to just forget that his army was back there, and actually, that was just the move he wanted to do. Dragon moves out with his 1 army, it immediately dies. GG. Pike doesn't even get to Defilers. Exit replay. That's Pike. That's what Pike does. He wins big engagements. That's Pike's strongest ability right there. I think he does it better than any other player, without exception. Well, foreign player, but I think that's something that Pike does better than people like Michael or Zeke. He knows how to command a large army, and he knows exactly how he should be using it. It's very impressive. I love to watch Pike's longer games. They're absolutely beautiful. So, moving into the final game of this, once again, we'll be going to a 1-1 tied score to determine who will win this set for North America or Poland. In the top left is the purple Protoss, is Dragon, and I do need to mess with the other one. In the bottom left as the white Zerg, it is Pike, and Pike is, call that 7. Dragon can be 10. And boom. Alright. Alright. So, Pike versus Dragon. Oh. Did a Protoss actually make it? I'm kind of surprised a Protoss even made it to the round of 4. It had to be draw, right? Does it mean draw beat Eon Zerg? I was looking at the brackets a little bit beforehand, just trying to figure out who's going to win. It seemed like Technics had the best shot. He might have been upset by Eon Zerg, but it seemed like Eon Zerg was the only dude who had a decent shot at beating Technics left in that tournament. Alright. Anyway, Pike 12 pool this time? 12 pool this time. 12 pool, 11 gas. And it looks like it's going to be 10 hatchery. And on the other side, Pike has thrown down his forge. Gateway goes on top, and then you have a hole at the top and a hole at the bottom. Alright. Oh, right. Must. I forgot must. No, that wasn't what was being casted. Okay, yeah. No. What? I don't know how there's PVZ on both streams. There's no Protoss left. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe they did decide to cast the quarterfinals, which would be good. Like, that's fucking retarded that they didn't cast, if they don't cast the quarterfinals. But I'm not gonna get into that. So, yeah, we've seen this. It seems like we've seen this a lot. We have Poland going for 12 pool, 11 gas, 10 hatch. Might have been a 10 hatch. The hatchery afterwards. Get some lings, and we have the American Protoss player getting 3 cannons immediately. 3 cannons to Nexus. I mean, 3. You would think that 3 cannons would be super common based on these games, but no. Normally, you get 2 cannons if you're scared. I don't know. There's some info going on here, like all the American Protosses got together at the end. Were like, hey, they're doing some funny shit. We gotta build 3 cannons at the beginning of every game, just to be safe. Like team huddle, pretty much. They just like all got together and it's like, okay, what did you guys all see game 1? And they all saw the same thing and they're like, holy shit, they're all just doing the same thing. We gotta build more cannons. Break. That'd be sick if we had team huddles in StarCraft. Wow. That's actually kind of funny. Alright. I don't even know if Pike was participating in that. I'm almost thinking, like, because it was a best of 1 format, and there was probably a lot of cheese in that tournament, like, everybody's just playing super cautiously, and they're in a super cautious mind frame. That's why all the Protosses are building 3 cannons. Maybe I'm just conjecturing at this point. But that's what casting is. It's just all conjecture. You actually know nothing as a caster. You're just guessing a lot, and most of the time your guesses are right. I mean, if you're gonna tell me that going 3 cannons is standard versus 12 pool, 11 gas, I don't think so, but obviously I can't argue with you. If you tell me it is, then it is. Like, maybe it's standard to throw down the 3rd cannon at some point in the future. I really don't think it's standard to go 3 cannons and then the Nexus. But, again, can't argue. Alright, and Pike, he's gonna be going 3 base. He got the lair, getting the spire. And this time it makes a lot more sense. It's fighting spirit. This base is, you can sim city in a lot easier. There's a gas here. There's an extra juicy base back here. This is the kind of style, or this is the kind of map and the kind of base placement that I would want to see with this build coming out from Pike. Getting his extra hatcheries and his Hydralisk done. I'm pretty sure he did 12 full. Like, I'm really confident he 12 pulled. I guess I'm not that confident anymore. those Scourge will not be able to catch the Corsair, and oh, a little bit late with your action there from Pike to turn the Scourge around. Could have saved them. Oh well. Oh man, look at this SimCity. Oh man, this is so pretty. This is so pretty, and you can't do this on match point. This is why it's good on this map. Like, what is Protoss gonna do against that? It's invincible. Like, this is actually just never ever going to die. You hit control. You hit control, and then you spin your little mouse wheel. Or just control minus. Just control minus, 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 minus. And then click on the other one and control minus, 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 minus. And then you go and you borrow your parents' reading glasses. And that's how you rock it. I guess. Alright. So, DragOn actually did attack this game early on. That's cool. But he also immediately pulled back. I do like that decision. I like it on both counts. Even though it seems kind of silly, I obviously like that he attacked. Last game, he just let Pike have way too much of the map, and it really came back to bite him at the end. So this time, he's at least acknowledging that, hey, I do exist. You should acknowledge that I have an army. Yet at the same time, I'm really a fan of that SimCity. So once he saw that SimCity, he should immediately turn around, because there's no point in wasting all your units. Oh, those are some pretty big spines. Those are some pretty big spines. There are 2 spines in there that hit nearly every zealot. Alright. Well, so this, it looks like he's going to lose the gateway and the forge. Maybe even the pylon. Actually, I think he is going to lose the pylon eventually. Pretty sure that lurker can hit it. Alright. And we find ourselves in a kind of similar position to what we found ourselves in last game. Pike with a small lurker army, just kind of nibbling away on some of these outside buildings, keeping DragOn back. Pike also decided to build 2 sets of Scourge, and then never use the Spire again. DragOn's moving around with his 1 Stargate's worth of Corsairs, but they all have +1, and he hasn't lost any, so it's still really strong. Wow, he actually has 5 kills on that Overlord. Huh. 5 Overlord kills on that Corsair. That's what I meant to say. And it looks like he might be able to score a few more here. Nope. Nope. Pike doing a good job with the hydraulic placement. That one is going to go down, though. And we have double Evo from Pike, but we already have 1 Evo over here, so that's going to be triple Evo. Alright. Apparently that lurker cannot hit that pylon, so the pylon won't be allowed to live. Really doesn't make a difference whether he kills it or not. It's not powering anything, and it wouldn't supply Block DragOn immediately. Alright, and it looks like DragOn finally got his observer out, so he can break through those lurkers. How close is Pike to his hive tech? No, Pike, not with the hive tech. I actually can't remember if Pike had 3 Evos last game. He's not using any of them. That's fine. Get triple Evo, don't use any of them. He's at 1 armor. That's triple Evo for 1 armor. That's fine. That's fine. Alright. So Looks like this game is going to be I think it's actually going to work out a little bit better for both players, really. It just seems like this map is more suited to both of their styles. What Pike wants to do, he really doesn't want to attack. He doesn't want to bust anything. He just wants to... He set up a little contain, but now he's just going to turtle. And on this map, it's a lot easier to turtle, and you get this 4th base. So that's going to be good for Pike. And DragOn, he moved out with his army. He's not going to go... he's not going to go careening across the map. He's just going to stay back and allow him to get up a 3rd base. Everybody likes fighting spirit, except for Game. Game is literally the one person who does not like fighting spirit. But he put it in the map pool, so apparently it's not that bad. We have our Queen's Nest and the Hive coming up. Interesting, putting the Queen's Nest here. I'm not going to read too much into that. I'm pretty sure it just really does not matter where the Queen's Nest goes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not even going to worry about that. Whole mess of lurkers and sunkens here to defend this. It's still a very safe base. And he's going to have his 4th up. The Hive is done, and going for Defiler round first, but then immediately Ultralist Cavern. So we have a lot of gas right now. And that's because Pike hasn't been making anything. He's made 2 Scourge, and then some Lurkers. But not a ridiculous number of Lurkers. He could make another control group's worth of Lurkers at this point. So he's got a little bit of gas saved up. Also, he doesn't have any upgrades going. That would be a good way to use gas, but you know. Oh, he does actually have some. Okay. He does have them over here. And they're not done yet, and they're probably not going to be done for this fight. And man, does Pike really want to flank? This army. This army, it's like, it looks really big, but these are all Dragoons. It's just going to die. Like, where's the Defiler? Okay, not research and consume? Is crack even done? Okay, there are some Zealots. There are some Zealots in here. I guess the Zealots are actually defending the back against a circling flank, which might be the right move. If the Zealots had run in here, they would have had to deal with all the Lurkers right now. So, better to keep the Zealots back. Is there anything that Pike can do against this? Here comes the flank. Here comes the flank. A lot of Lurkers and Lings coming in from the back, but ooh, those storms are so nice. Storms are so nice. Still, it's not quite enough on either end. Not quite enough to. There we go. Finishing him off now. But can he break through here? Can he actually kill any of the buildings? Archon morphing in. That's certainly going to be very helpful right now. Pike did not get crack. What are you doing with your Hive tech? Oh, why would you get the Ultra's Cavern before crack? Alright, that Lurker should probably burrow so it doesn't, you know, like die. Oh, never mind. It died anyway. And now the Natural is dead. Pike, he got up to his Hive tech, but now he can't do anything with his Hive tech. He's making a couple Ultralists. Okay. So, this is the entire embodiment of Pike's Hive tech right now. With no upgrades either. It's a slow, unarmored Ultralisk, but it's fine. It's fine. It's got a ramp to help it out. Okay, maybe it's not so fine. Alright. So that's a lot of Zealots. Zealots, not quite Zerglings when it comes to taking out buildings, but they're certainly good at it. So we should probably be bringing all of these up to help clear out this base even faster. Just so Pike has less of a chance to potentially counterattack. I mean, Pike is pretty low on supply, so it seems like it's going to be hard. And wow, that Ultralisk literally did not get out of the hatching. I don't know what you call that, the hatching buffer. Like the little runaround it does when it tries to find usable terrain after it hatches. It did not get out of that, it just died. And this one doesn't even get a chance to hatch. Oh, killing Ultralisk eggs. It's kind of weird to think that elephants come out of eggs, but in StarCraft they do. And the bottom left has been completely leveled. Pike can do a little counterattack over here. He's got some Ultralisks, and he's got some Links. So he can take out the cannons. That will slow down DragOn a bit, but he's only on 2 bases. Oh, and there is every Overlord. All conveniently clumped up for the Corsairs. I guess this is what happens. This is what happens when you're actually careful with your Corsairs instead of throwing them away at like the 15-14 minute mark, where a lot of Protoss players have a little bit of a tendency to do. If you keep them alive, you can find uses for them, like supply blocking a 57 supply Zerg. Dragon's also supply blocked, but you know, a little bit better situation for him. And are these units going to go Alamo mode? We go Alamo mode? Oh yeah, we're going Alamo mode. Hold the ramp. Hold the ramp for as long as possible. Like, I guess they're backing up to allow more units through to get better surrounds, because normally you'd want to keep that choked off as much as possible, but I guess if there are units in the back, maybe you don't. Anyway, that didn't work out so well. Again, the Ultralists don't have armor upgrades, so the Zealot's doing an extra 4 damage compared to what they would have done if they had it. There are still a lot of Sunkens here, and a lot of creep colonies. There we go. And even more Sunkens. There are a lot of Sunkens on this side of the map. And Queen's Nest. Oh, he did get a lair. I thought like he had built the Queen's Nest before the hive went down so that he could get his own hive. And then I was thinking, oh, silly, why didn't you just start the hive? But no, he has a lair down here. You know, giving that thing a little bit extra health. Yeah. I'm not sure why Pike is in this game. It's like this. Just looking at this screen, this army in terms of minerals and whatnot is more valuable than everything Pike owns. Okay, maybe not. Pike does have a lot of sunken colonies, but he only has 36 supply. And more Archons. Because, you know, when you have that much gas, why not more Archons with 3 attack upgrade? It's 10? 10 Archons? 10 Archons is a pretty solid number. Unfortunately, Archons are not good at all versus Sunkens. But they are good versus Circlings that don't have crack. He didn't get crack. Look at those uncracked things. He had a hive, and now he doesn't. There is literally nothing remaining from that hive. He didn't get any +3 upgrades. He didn't rebuild the Defiler Mount or the Ultra Cavern over here. He didn't get Crackling upgrade. There is nothing he got to save from that hive. He has to completely redo all of it. Alright. So, now what are we gonna do with the hive? Are we gonna get cracked this time? Maybe cracked this time would be a good idea? Possibly. Possibly. No, we're gonna go for Defiler Mount. I don't know what Pike's game plan is here. Actually, I don't even know what DragOn's game plan is here. He can't make any more money. He can make more money. He has a problem with spending the money. I guess he's throwing it all down in cannons somewhere. Not that many cannons. Resource saves are coming back in really because there's nothing else to do at this point. There aren't that many spore colonies, despite how many Sunkens there are. So, you know, we can supply block Pike again. Oh, we're moving. We're moving. Not even gonna get a chance to see it. Alright. GG. DragOn wins 2-1. And North America is up 2-0. Over Poland.